Come on. So yeah, here we go. So 7.3 cents. You know, secure and compliant platform for buying, selling, transferring, and storing digital currency. Liechtenstein Crypto Assets Exchange was founded in 2018. Headquarters in Liechtenstein. It's a member of the World Economic Forum for the fourth industrial revolution, that being blockchain. I mean, they are very forward thinking. I like them a lot. I really, really do. I think they're really, really cool. Uh, yeah, Nate, if you can get hold of the guys, just ask them to reach out. You know me, I'm happy to get anyone in for an AMA, so please do. So we've hit the Bitcoin bottom. I think we've hit the bottom. Yeah, I mean, I think 15.5k in hindsight is the bottom. I mean, just looking at the chart, obviously on YouTube, etc. You know, I was screaming that 12k was coming. And I wasn't going to buy in, and I left it too late. I didn't start buying until we were back above 20k. I don't think, because I was that worried about it. But we did pull out. We got out of it in the end, and we really haven't looked back. We've been below 20k once. Since then, we went down to 19.5k. I mean, we're now at 30k. Let's just say the volatility could see us bouncing between 25 and 30k for a while anyway. If we had a black swan event that wasn't Binance, I don't think it's going to hurt us, to be honest with you. Binance is like 70% of all the crypto exchange going on right now. If Binance goes, that's a problem. But I think financially they're probably sound. They've had this issue where they've been commingling funds. But ultimately, I can't believe that they're not making enough money to pay for everything. So I think that they've probably got the money somewhere. I'm not too worried about them financially. It's legally, the legality of Binance. If we get into a regulated environment where centralized exchanges have to be regulated, Binance clearly don't want to be regulated. They could end up being the world's biggest decentralized exchange. So, you know, it'll be weird. ElonX.com, real or fake? I have absolutely no idea on that one. I think, you know, Elon has done finance before. Obviously, he was part of the. He created PayPal, didn't he? Or the first iteration of PayPal, and then sold it. So he has dabbled in finance before, and he obviously had a vision. I think there's an interview of him saying that he had a vision of what this finance company would be and what it would look like. But yeah, I mean, I think there's probably some truth in it. He's probably mentioned it to someone. I bet you can't hear me, can you? I'm not even plugged in, am I? Oh, there we go. So if you can't hear me on YouTube, that was why. But yeah, I mean, it's Elon's a powerhouse. Whatever he decides to do, I think he can make work. That's the worrying thing. Do I think Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and Zcash will get to their all-time highs again? I mean, the way we've seen Bitcoin Cash perform, I think especially when Bitcoin is strong, those products do pump like crazy. And if we see Bitcoin ETFs and Bitcoin being adopted in, in the West, in non-BRIC countries and non-South American countries, I think that's a big thing to sit up and listen to. BlackRock getting an ETF would be huge. And I think we'd see a lot of adoption on Bitcoin peripherals. So, it could be a very interesting time. Things like ordinals and things. Love Swissborg, use it every day. I mean, yeah, it's great. Their auto invest feature, the thematics, it all works brilliantly. And I have been told that they are working to make the thematics work with auto invest, so you can just pay straight into thematics, which would be great because it doesn't do it right now. Why would we dump? We would only dump because that's what happens in crypto. It's incredibly volatile. The market moves up and down naturally. Different economic and environmental factors, financially and fiscally. However, there becomes a point where it's oversold, overbought. You see that natural movement. If there's any kind of black swan event, that will pull the market down. If this ETF gets refused, for example, I think we'll see a dump on that. I think people have been getting very excited by BlackRock having this ETF, and they like the thought of it, and it's very exciting. But if they get refused the ETF, I think Bitcoin takes a dump. we go back down to 25k because that's when the rally started because of the ETF news. So it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be an interesting time. Just looking, how are we doing, buddy? Good to see you. Elon knows information is the biggest asset of the future. That's why he bought Twitter, 100%. Very clever guy. Information. I mean, that's what got Facebook its value. Facebook was worth so much because it sold your data. End of story. It had all your data and it sold it. Facebook started going downhill in value when people said, hang on a minute, that's our data. You can't do that. And it asks your permission for things and you say no. So, of course, the value goes down because you haven't got as much data to sell on you. Thoughts on Mina? I don't know too much about Mina, to be fair. I couldn't honestly comment. Just doing the Web3 thing for now. Can send USDC free to top it up. Yeah, the Web3 thematics is great. It's like a mini Web3 ETF in Swissborg. It's a great idea. I'm hoping they do something similar with some other pots of stuff. So they'll have Web3. I'm hoping they have like a metaverse gaming thematics maybe. Maybe like a DeFi thematics. That would be really cool to see. But we'll have to wait and see what happens and what comes out. And they are working hard behind the scenes. Nice guy, welcome. Good to see you, buddy. Got in high on Dash and Zcash, so hopefully they'll go back their highs again. I mean, they do kind of, they're running kind of in tandem with Bitcoin. We've seen with Bitcoin Cash that actually when Bitcoin's strong, Bitcoin Cash is really strong. So you could see that really run up very quickly. But also it's going to dump quite hard if Bitcoin turns down. When, in my opinion, will the UK and USA turn on the cash printers again? I'm pretty sure that the USA have already turned the printers on. I think Richie Sunak is determined not to do it, to be honest with you. I think we've got a little bit longer. But they're going to have to eventually to try and fight inflation and things. So it's a difficult balancing act. You need to stop people spending money to fight inflation. But if you put interest rates up and people still spend, then you need to... you almost need to do the opposite. You need to print more money and get the economy going again. So it's bizarre. I'm not an economist. I can't say 100%, but the best thought of way to fight inflation is to stop people from spending, basically. So put interest rates up, tighten people's pockets. Job losses are important because there's less money in the economy then, and it slows down the inflation. Not good for us, but it's one of those things. But then also they have to turn the money printer back on at some point because infrastructure needs to be maintained, especially in the UK. We've got a social welfare state to maintain. So they can't afford to lose too many jobs because otherwise that all collapses. The UK could be a house of cards like that. Got £100. What do I put it in? I cannot tell you that, Bigsy. I'm not a financial advisor. I've got lots of projects that I like, that I personally invest in. All I suggest you do is just research the whole market, find something with good utility that you understand and you think has a good use case with good partnerships and a good team, and then go for it. I mean, that's all anyone does. You can join lots of socials as well. So there's lots of free Discords, including my own, where you can come in and talk to people and learn a lot more for absolute free. And obviously that's a conversation. It's not financial advice, so you can do that offline. But TikTok doesn't like me telling you what I like or what you should like. So it's a bit difficult. But yeah, join our Discord, have a chat about it, and people will tell you what they like. You can research, find out what you like, and then you can put your £100 in. Holy XRD don't. Yeah, I've mentioned this a few times. Ace, I mean, I know you've just come in, but XRD, Radix down at 30% at one point today. I have mentioned that I'm thinking about taking out a little long position on it. But yeah, a big dump on XRD today, down from 8.5 cents to 5.7 cents at one point. A massive dump. It is slowly recovering, but not very quickly. Yeah, I mean, you got some other people suggesting things already. They're perfectly sensible suggestions. Yeah, I haven't seen a bad one yet. But as I said, jump in the Discord. Most of these people you see here are already in the Discord. Come in, have a chat, and as I said, everyone will tell you what they like and why, and then you can research it and make your own mind up. That's just the best way. But I would always suggest utility, tokenomics, partnerships, and revenue. If they're making money and they're in use, then they might have a future. Everything is crashing right now. Let's have a look on the short term. Yeah, the markets are pretty much gone completely red. Let's have a look at the Bitcoin price chart. Let's get in on the hourly. It's actually down 200 bit percent today, so let's see where we're sat at the moment. So we're just attacking the 30,000 line on Bitcoin. We did spike down to 29.85. If we, yeah, it could get a little bit ugly. Stochastic RSI is very low on the 15-minute. It's still on the way down on the hourly. I think we're going to dip below 30k. We could see what we saw here last Thursday where we dipped down to 29.5. That's exactly what happened. So if you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see my screen. You'll be able to see that we dipped down to 29.5 this time last week. And then we recovered from there. So if we're going to reset the stochastic RSI on the hourly, it does need to come down more. We might see 29.5 on that. But then we did recover very, very strongly going into the weekend. So interesting. The 4-hourly setup. 4-hourly setup looks a little bit better. The stochastic RSI is pretty low, and it is turned upwards. So slightly longer time frame, I do expect it to bounce back up. And on the daily, the stochastic RSI is very high, turning down. So it's very mixed messages. I don't know which way it's going to go. No one really does. I would take a guess that short-term pullback and then a bounce back up. It could be quite a strong pullback. I think I said this earlier in the live. If we have a really strong pullback to reset the daily stochastic RSI, that probably needs to come down to 28.5. Something as severe as that. But we'll see. No one knows. It's all guesswork. But as Mark said there, I mean, I don't panic anymore when I see red. Because I'm only holding things that I like long term. I see red and I'm just kind of like, okay, hold fire. What's happening? If it's just a dip because of Bitcoin in the market or whatever, keep an eye on it. And it might just be a good buying opportunity. Not financial advice, but it's something that I do as well. Have I managed to reduce the number of crypto I have? Kind of, but I'm finding things to replace them with. So I'm not doing a great job, but I'm finding very cheap stuff. So what I'm finding I'm doing is I'm letting a few things go, getting some stable coin, and I'm buying very cheap, very small value of other coins that are much more risky, but I think could be okay. But I've not mentioned some of the ones I'm buying at the moment because they're just too risky. I wouldn't even want to suggest people look at them. We will have the same trend of diminishing return for 2025 bull market, or will ETFs rocket higher? I think ETFs are a very, very difficult thing to predict. Are they going to be the world's biggest buy the rumor, sell the news event for Bitcoin? Or are they going to ignite the fire under the whole crypto industry? I'd like to think the second option, but the pessimist in me says it's a buy the rumor, sell the news event. So we're going to see people speculating on Bitcoin now, the price going up because of these ETFs, like I say. And if they get denied or granted the ETF, it comes down either a little bit if it's granted, because people sell off and take the profit on the Bitcoin. It's buy the rumor, sell the news. Or they get denied the ETF and it plummets anyway because of people's, people being excited and then they're disappointed. Bank of England has adopted Quant for connecting the rails. Yeah, so that recent one is the second partnership they've had with BIS and Bank of England. So they have they've got another test net to do. The Overledger work for. They have got very strong ties and relationships. I like Quant for those reasons. Very institutional, great use case, great tokenomics. And as I've said before, and as I've posted a video with Blockchain Boy saying today, it doesn't really need the token. It's software. They could pay for that with fiat, but they do have the token. You've got to pay for it with the token. So it's got a use. Plus the tokenomics are really good, and it does pump very, very easily. Drive me in for a second XRP purchase tonight. ETFs normally crash the market. There we go. So Mark's got it there as well. ETFs normally crash the market, and because it's just one big buy the rumor, sell the news event. But buying XRP twice in the day, Mark, I think you've got a problem. ETFs take time, probably 2025 if it passes. Thoughts on Corium? Corium's could potentially be a very, very, very good layer 1 network, potentially. All the tokens are in full supply now, of course. They've all been airdropped, so they're all out there. They were all free, and I lost a lot of money on Sologenic. I've got a lot of free Quorum tokens as a result, though, with XRP and Quorum. I'm just going to hold what Quorum I've got. If it comes good, it comes good. If it doesn't, then I'm prepared to live with that. But I'm certainly not putting any more into it, put it that way. This could rocket QNT's overall value in a bull run. It could, absolutely. But this is where Quant's value has always lay. It's always lay in adoption with governmental banks. So the Bank of England, the Euro Bank, any kind of international payments remittance system. If Quant partners with them, that's bullish. But it's very much a use case scenario. If Quant does not partner and does not get used, it's not worth a bloody thing because no one's paying them. No one's using their token. No one's using their service. It's not going to be worth anything. It's great technology with a great team. The reason why I like it so much is because of Gilbert Verdian, all the relationships he's got across the board with Ripple, with the Euro, with the DPF. They're all fantastic relationships. And of course, he's going to be strong with the Bank of England, but he's also got ties to the Euro. I think he's also had conversations with Australia's CBDC proposals. He's getting around. He speaks to a lot of people. And if you follow very few people on Twitter, follow Gilbert Verdian. You find out on Twitter who he's talking to before anywhere else. Thoughts on Raise Network? Another one I don't actually know too much about, I'm afraid, Dreamer. Don't know too much about that one yet at all. Thank you for sharing the live, Eric. I'm going to be winding it up very, very soon, folks. So if you've got any more comments, just chuck them in quickly. I did start slightly early this evening, so I'm going to finish up slightly early as well. I hope you don't mind. Thoughts on XRP? I really like Ripple and XRP's use case. Very, very bullish on them. I do not DCA into it anymore. I don't buy XRP. I do earn XRP. I earn 4% on a spend reward card, a crypto spend reward card, Uphold, link in bio. But I don't DCA into it. I don't pay into XRP anymore. I'm willing to sit back and see what happens with that bag I've got. I'm diversifying into other things with possibly as good or better ROIs. But ultimately, there's no lawsuit hanging over them at the moment, so I'd be happier to trade in other things. But yeah, I like XRP and I like Ripple. Thoughts on XLM working with USA CBD? XLM will be used by a lot of people, and it's evident, obviously, the fact they've been partnered up with the Euro. XLM Stellar, really, really good company. I've always said that they're the little brother of XRP, but I've also said as long as Ripple and XRP are tied up in this lawsuit, they would probably be the ones to march forward to bigger, better things. And if they land the USA's CBDC infrastructure, their remittance network, their ODLs, that's huge. That's the coup. And that will have primarily been caused probably by the fact that Ripple tied up in the lawsuit. So if Ripple land that one, they will have Bill Hinman and Gary Gensler to thank for it. My personal thoughts, obviously. Nothing to prove that, but they will have them to thank. Because otherwise Ripple would have been in the mix and probably would have won the business. Right then, folks, I am going to wind it up there. So thank you for being here. Thank you for asking the questions and having a chat with me this evening. Thank you for smashing those likes, people. Come along into the Discord. Smash any queries you've got out there. If you've got any proposals to what you'd like me to check out, jump in the Discord, mention them in there. I'm more than happy to always look at these. And I look forward to speaking to you all again. Okay, take care.